This is the Town of Hennessy Board of the Trustees regular meeting, April 14th, 2022. Town Hall 123, South Main at 6 o'clock. Roll call, please.
David?
Here.
Cliff?
Here.
Harold?
Here.
Richard?
Here.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Number 2 is report from the Hennessy United Board. Barb?
We haven't met yet.
Okay.
We did meet last month again.
I do
Is-
want to recognize that the Hennessy United did help sponsor the Easter egg hunt this year, so kudos to the Hennessy United Board, so.
And was I noticing that the signs got put up? Where they,
They put the stands up.
the stands up?
Yeah, where the signs
Where
is.
the signs go? Number 3, consider approval of consent agenda. A, minutes of March meetings. B, approval of claims as follows. March purchase orders, $30,278.43. 2 is April purchase orders, $25,319.76. April RSTF, $41,657.14. Life IMSA, $16,967.59. Number 4, April Library Fund, $163.17. April Street and Alley Fund is 0. Budget amendments. C, accept the following reports: Treasurer, Library, Police, Quarterly Report.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I second that. Citizens' comments?
Hold on. Actually, April. Harold?
Yes.
Cliff?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Excuse me.
You're good.
Citizen comments? Town Administrator report, purchases?
Yeah, on my report, I just wanted to let you guys know that I am working on the budget. It will be initially presented to you guys next month. All the department heads have gotten me their numbers, so I'm plugging them in and working on the income to see if I have to go back to them and say it's good, or they have to cut it, or what it is. I know that they are working with the stuff that they have presented to you guys at our meeting, the capital meeting that we had. So we are working some of those things into the budget. So you will see some of that stuff into the budget also. Our employee handbook, the attorney did send me responses after our last meeting. We talked about the drug testing, the handguns, the social media policy and stuff. And then I forwarded his response out to you guys. So if you guys can look at that, get back to me on what you want. I think he gave us an example of Enid's drug testing policy. So if we want to look at that, or what we want to do. The Easter egg hunt, the Lioness Club has dissolved. So they were not going to have an Easter egg hunt, so Shelley started recruiting and got a hold of the Hennessy United. They donated, got us, last night they were here till 9 o'clock stuffing eggs. We've stuffed over 4,000 eggs for Saturday's Easter egg hunt, so getting ready for that for Saturday, but trying to figure out what we're going to do for the Easter egg hunt in the future. So I know Hennessy United has talked about being able to, Lions Club has come asking about it, and so there's different organizations that have talked about taking it over. Swimming pool, we've got our managers hired, and I've hired lifeguards, so we're on the ball with that. It's going to be filled by the beginning of May, and both diving boards, we have those in because, you know, the top of them peeled away last year. So they have been replaced, not actually replaced, but we've got the diving boards here to be replaced. So they will be up and running. So we're going to open on May 21st.
Were them warranted?
Yes. They were warranted. So, but May 21st, we will have an opening. We're going to have a town employee, first responders, people who work with the town, including board members, to give the lifeguards a kind of
A soft opening.
a soft opening on that Friday, the 20th, from 6 to
So who are we gonna drown?
6 to 8. So
What are you gonna be for?
you're more than welcome to come.
I thought
but-
that was the new board member.
So who do we hire?
He gets to go. He gets to go down the. He gets to go down the.
Oh,
the slide.
the slide.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I was thinking about something else. What I,
Who do we hire as managers?
Juliana Macy, she's gonna be the manager, and then Emily Root and Wade Vincent, they're gonna be the assistant managers. So Juliana was the assistant manager last year. So
Emily
she
Root,
did.
and who was the third one?
Wade Vincent.
Okay, thank you.
So, they came in this past Saturday and we did 20 interviews of lifeguards. So we had
Wow.
quite a few applications.
That's cool.
Yeah, we
That's
were here
good.
from 8 o'clock in the morning till, right at 4 o'clock. So,
Do we ever get the speaker system fixed in? Where they ain't doing that boom box or?
we're working on that still. So, yeah.
that sounds like a no.
Well, every time they would, it has a speaker system, but every time they would turn it on, it would blow the speakers. I think there was some miscommunication with the electrician, and I'm not so sure that the electrician knows exactly what type of speaker system that pool needs. So, it may need some jack work kind of help on
Did you bang on it? That usually fixes anything.
it. So.
Need a bigger hammer.
And then, also, May 1st is when the splash pad is opening, so, anyway. The Osborne sewer line, they're gonna start work on it on Monday. So the, manholes are gonna be delivered tomorrow, and then they're gonna start digging on Monday. The water plant, they're still, they keep having to push it back because they've ordered all the parts for the RO replacement of that, but they keep pushing back like the delivery times on the parts. So they keep having to push it back, like it was the beginning of May, and now it's the beginning of June. So they keep having to push it back, so,
I don't think it's untypical right now.
no. So, and we're waiting for firm dates for when because we're gonna have to shut down the water plant for about 4 to 5 days, and we have contacted DEQ, so we are working with DEQ on that. But when we do shut down the water plant, that is when we will do the tower also out there. When we clean out the tower and paint the tower, so we don't have to shut down the water plant twice. So,
Wait, it's gonna be shut down for 4 or 5 days,
yes.
so the town will be without water those days, or?
We will bypass the plant,
Okay, yeah, that's correct.
yes.
I assumed, but I thought I'd make sure.
Yes,
Okay.
we will bypass the plant.
So just don't drink the water then.
We will put a notice out to people letting them know we will do tests to test our water at that time to see what the nitrates are. And if they're low enough, then we won't have to tell people that. And also, when our nitrates are high, you and I can drink the water. It's for infants that are 6 months and younger that they say that nitrates are bad for. So, the welcome signs, you asked about the welcome signs. They have the braces up. Right now, they're working on the electric for it. OG&E is gonna come in. Caleb's been working on putting the meter base in. And then OG&E has to come in and run the line, and then they're just gonna come in and set the sign over those posts. And they have the south and the west one. And then OG&E has to go underground with electric under the highway. So there's gonna be a few more permits. When Halliday Truck Plaza came in with their plans, it kind of moved our sign a little bit further north. So, kind of, but we have the permit from ODOT for the north one now, but we just have to get a few more. Now OG&E has to get permits to go under the highway, so. And then one other thing is, a couple of years ago, we did away with the alcohol license for the city. I really think, and that's another thing that I'm just kind of bringing it, kind of just for you to think about. That right there is an income source for the town. So people register for alcohol, to sell alcohol in the city. Most towns have it. Like your liquor store gets a liquor license, anybody who sells liquor, beer, like your convenience stores and all of them. The board did away with it a couple of years ago. I really think the board needs to reconsider that and put it back.
It seems the reason we got rid of it was because of the license. I believe there was like a discrepancy of the license, I believe.
They, from what I remember is the board was trying to be nice to the businesses and not charge them because of the,
Because it was like $1,500 or something like that, I think. wasn't it?
No, I know like the liquor store used to pay $300.
$300.
Yeah. And then
I thought with the new liquor laws, that their prices were going up with the state for the new liquor laws.
yeah. But for municipalities, I mean, like we were charging like for non-alcohol, well, for beer, it was only like $10, $25. And for the liquor store, it was like $300. But I'm not sure what we would put into place, but I just think that that's another income source for the town, and the town has to survive too, so.
I guess that if we did that, then it also goes to the convenience stores, because they can sell
Yeah.
that through the.
Do you know what Kingfisher's doing?
No, I can check with them, and I would check with them and check with Enid and check with the surrounding towns to see what they do.
Right.
But I really think that that's something that the town needs to consider, so.
Okay.
But anyway, I just wanted to bring it up, but that's all I have.
Okay, 6, other business. Discuss, approve, deny, reject, and/or take action upon the following. A, discussion with possible action to declare old daycare building surplus and tear it down. Bert sent me an email. He said that the windows were being broke out, that there was people playing inside of it.
Yes, the fire department and the police department talked about using it as a training building. I think they've used it one time, and it's just been sitting there, and we cleaned up around it quite a bit. But being back on the backside of the library and on a street that's never traveled, we found out that some kids had broke on the west side door, had broke in. Or I say kids, it might not have even been kids. Well, some neighbors around there had seen some kids inside there. Well, they found the kids, but the kids said that they didn't break in there, that it was already broke, but they were inside there. So without, I mean, we could put cameras up there, but it's really hard to patrol that building. Plus, there's termites in the building. So we really think that that building is, because they don't use it that often, we really think that building is a liability.
Also be able to use that later on. We're going to have the heliport there. That could be used as parking too.
Yes, that place, yes, it can be used as parking.
Sometimes in the larger city where they have a surplus property, they'll offer it to somebody if they do something with it. I don't know what the condition of that building is. I know just from the outside, the peeling paint and everything, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, I think with all the termite damage and stuff like that, I just don't think that, I really think.
It's not salvageable.
Are you thinking about contracting it for demolition, or are you thinking about having the city employees do it?
Burn it down.
It's a concrete block.
I don't
I thought it
know
was wooden, it was all wood.
It's wooden. Yeah, it's wooden inside.
Yeah, I'm wrong.
There could be a fire training inside or something.
I talked to Bert, but with it being that close to the,
I think it's really close to power lines also.
and also being that close to the Head Start and different things, I don't think they really want to. I thought about getting close just to see how much it would cost to be tore down, just for all the liability, you know. Because even just like a workers' comp claim might be worth getting it tore down by somebody else.
The church paid $6,000 when they had that house tore down. And then they came back and leveled all the dirt and did a really good job.
Yeah, see, and if
So-
somebody got hurt doing it,
Mhm.
workers' comp would just.
And those people cleaned it up really nice and they did a good job.
Sometimes we can find them for like $3,000 or $4,000.
Can we offer it out to have somebody to tear it down for the materials? And let them decide if they want to refurbish the wood out of there?
I mean, we can put it out for bid.
I'm talking about, well, you're talking about tearing down, but some people go into them old homes and tear them down for the old wood. You know, it'd be
I don't
different.
know if they would want it if it has termites.
Well, just because you got termite damage in one spot, don't mean it's no wood on the other end. It might be working for somebody that is doing it.
Well, I mean, we can put it out to bid and people can bid on it and we can give them a time frame. I mean, we don't want somebody to take 2 years to tear it down.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you know, we could say, hey, May the 1st, you gotta have it out there, you know, if you want.
Yeah,
I'm just asking,
I mean, because we could go out for bid on it.
I mean,
My dad would tear down buildings. He would tell them, you're not using this building, I'll tear it down for you.
But sometimes-
So you could have the wood.
But also, when you do that, you want to tell them that they have to take it outside of the city limits.
yeah.
Because you don't want them piling it up inside the city limits.
If
Because
we
we've
tear,
had that before.
if we tear it down and let's say that we tear it down and there's asbestos in that building, then what do we do?
What do you mean?
Well, if it's got asbestos shingles or
Mhm.
that siding to be asbestos, you know, you just can't dump that anywhere.
If it's, a lot of times, if it's just one building, then those places, there's places to dump those. Because that's one, you know, we went to that class last week and we're getting ready to go into more of the solid waste dumping. But we went to places and there's places to dump that.
But
In
trucking,
more of those places, in more of those contract places that tear down, like did the church place, they know where those are.
I'm for tearing it down, I mean,
Yeah. Because we spoke, in that class, we spoke about things like that. And they can't come back on the city.
I just don't wanna get tore down and then all of a sudden they come in and say, well, that's got asbestos in it, we can't take it, you gotta drive it all the way to Wichita Falls, Texas.
That's why we don't, we're not gonna tear it down for liability reasons, because we don't pay our employees workers' comp for tearing down stuff like that.
Yeah. So do we need this as a motion to,
Make a motion to declare the old building surplus or
Mhm.
and tear it down?
to be tore down?
Yeah.
Or put up for bid? Which one? Be tore down? Bid to be tore down?
However you wanna do it.
Make a motion to declare the old daycare building surplus and to tear it down.
I'll second that.
Harold,
Yes.
Cliff,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
B, discussion with the possible action to take to approve ordinance 384, amending the employee retirement system defined a contribution plan for the town of Hennessy of Oklahoma. You will find that in your packet.
About once a year, our retirement plan sends us an ordinance where their attorney and the IRS decided they needed to make a change. And so this is what this is. And I sent it to our attorney, and he says that it's fine.
Tiffany, I missed what you stated, this is sent down by the federal government to the state of Oklahoma, and it came down to Hennessy.
So our retirement company, Oklahoma Municipal Retirement,
Oh, okay.
like IRS makes changes,
Mhm.
and so their attorney makes them change our agreement with them,
Okay,
and that's what this is,
so it's driven by IRS.
yes.
So we really don't have any say-so.
No. And our attorney reviewed it, and it's good.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve ordinance number 384.
Okay.
Do I need to do anything else?
A second too.
Harold,
Yes.
Cliff,
Yes,
David,
Yes,
Richard,
Yes,
and I signed this twice on this.
We have an original for you to sign.
Okay. C, discussion with a possible action to raise the rate of the town Hennessy campground rent. I didn't even know we had a campground, or we was charging rent, but it's behind the,
Right now, it's west of the rodeo grounds. We have 3 places for them to hook up to. And for a long time, we'd only let them do like a temporary stay.
like 2 weeks.
Yes. Well, then, COVID, then we didn't have any rental property around. Like, there was no place to rent. And so then we kind of let them just stay because there was no place. Like, Longhorn was full. I mean, everywhere was full. Quick Pump was full. There was no place. So we just let them stay. Well, we're only charging $280. And all of those places, I think, are charging $450, or they were, 400,
400.
400,
Did you say 280
280,
a month?
yes.
Okay.
So I think,
That's all bills paid, right? There ain't no water or,
yeah, that's water, sewer, garbage, and electric.
when you say 3 places, do you mean 3 parking spots or?
3 hookups, yeah.
Okay.
There's only 3 parking spots. So I think that we need to raise it to either $350 or $400.
I agree. That's awful cheap. Because when you have an RV, they charge you between $50 and $100 a night.
So.
that's a recreational vehicle,
Yes.
but this is sort of different, isn't it? It's not. I would think maybe a RV.
you know, like you go over Lake Canton, for example, they charge you like $20 a night to park your RV at their campsite with water and electricity. You know, Lake Carl Blackwell over there, they're at $175 a month for their rent, but you pay your electricity and your own water.
Are the spaces rented now,
Mhm.
all 3 of them,
Mhm.
for $280?
Mhm.
Well, I kind of hate to hit a big increase all at once and.
No, I
maybe over
would,
a
I would
couple-
like this to be effective like July 1st. Like to give them a little bit, or to give them, you know, like not to tell them effective May 1st, you know what I mean?
Right.
You've got all 3 spots covered right now?
Have most of them been there for the last couple of years?
Mm-hmm. The same ones.
Oh, okay. And that was not the intention.
But it's cheap.
Oh, I understand.
We've had people ask us if we could put more in that didn't want to pay the rent around here.
What if we did like June 1st, 325, and then June 1st of 2023, do 375? So that way they won't have a $200 increase right at one time.
Whatever you think he's gonna do, I just think that
But
it
it'd be
needs
nice
to
The
be.
question is whether we want people to live out there, right?
I just don't think people need to be living on the town. I mean, we need to be,
Yeah, it was when people came into town and,
there wasn't
visiting
any.
relatives or something like that, they could stay
Yeah,
there.
and a lot of times we would have room for, like harvesters.
Yeah,
I mean, we had a harvester that would stay every summer, and now we don't even have room for him, so.
Do we have any idea how much electricity they use? Is that a separate meter or?
I don't remember.
Oh, hold on, I'll tell you. Hold on, let me get out my 30 OG&E bills.
So what do they do with the trash? 'Cause I know they're.
There's a dumpster down there.
oh, so all the bills are paid, okay.
Sign me up.
That was cheap.
If you go look at a camper
400 less second.
in the summertime, it's gonna be like that.
It'll take a lot of electricity.
It's gonna be $120.
No,
If you're running
Yes,
two
yes,
or
yes,
three
yes.
air conditioners up on top.
haven't
I
had
like
to use these addresses.
It's like, oh, well, like this month was 237 was the electric bill.
All three.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
And January's was
Yep, I like
probably,
335.
was higher than that, was the
Sorry,
highest.
you gotta make it. Where it's competitive.
And it was around 300 and something.
Uptown, I think.
And what are you charging now?
280.
When we look at it
So-
another year, it's about 350.
We can do that.
That's for all three of them,
No.
Mhm.
the
That's 75 bucks.
237. Still,
What do you think about 350 a month? Effective July 1st.
Maybe 400 next year.
Yeah.
I mean, 'cause OG&E's fixing to go up on their rates.
Mm-hmm.
is there a daily rate then? I mean, if somebody just
I don't
comes in
even
for the-
remember the daily rate,
Okay.
because we haven't had anybody.
Well, I mean, for somebody just coming in for
Yeah,
a weekend.
and that's
or-
another thing we need to set as a daily rate too.
20 bucks.
That's like $11 a day. We're paying 50 to 100 a day. I mean, at a nice campsite with amenities, but still.
I'm telling you, you go to Lake Canton, it's $25 to
Yeah.
park your deal over there.
I think it was, I thought it was like 12,
I know it was really low.
or
But
maybe
it
six,
was,
$6 or $12.
you know,
It was really
it was for people that were coming here and they were probably gonna go buy groceries or do something, you know.
$12, I
like
think,
that,
was the daily.
You know,
But
yeah.
you wanna make a motion to raise the rate of the town of Hennessy campground rent to $350 a month plus $20 a day, effective July 1st, 2022.
I like that.
Yes, second, please.
I'll second that.
Harold,
Yes,
Cliff,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Discussion with the possible action to appoint an emergency management director.
So, Ed was our emergency management director. And so now with him gone, we need one. I've been thinking about this, I haven't quite come up with somebody for the permanent position. So if you guys, and we have to have one, especially with storm season coming up. So if you guys could appoint me as the interim, and then while I work on somebody in.
Did you say Curtis Turner? Curtis Turner had the position before?
No, Ed Cangiano.
The police chief.
Oh, okay.
Police chief.
I'm
I
sorry.
was it before him. But,
We got a real good one right over there.
Yeah, I did it before, but I didn't.
but if you guys could appoint me interim, just so, and then while I work on somebody.
Well,
What do you gotta do?
Hmm?
What do they have to do? What do you have to do?
Well, we really need to send them to weather school and they need to go to conferences and just different things.
He's the spokesperson for the town if something
Yeah.
happens.
Sort of, say a category 10 hurricane came through, the sort of a communication coordinator, isn't it?
Yes, and then also if we have damages during storms and different things, they're the ones filling out all of the federal paperwork
Don't you want to do that?
and
what about
all
Bert?
of that.
They had me a storm chaser.
We could
So,
nominate Bert, he's not here.
Just the FEMA paperwork alone is like horrendous, you know.
I just now finished up the ones from October,
Uh,
the storm from October, so, yeah.
To make a motion to appoint Tiffany, emergency managing director,
An interim.
interim.
Good luck spelling that word.
Yeah.
Keep going. Mark, he didn't get it all. I'll second that.
Harold,
Yes.
Cliff,
Yes.
David,
Yes,
Richard,
Yes,
E, discussion with the possibility of action to approve the contract with Howdy Truck Stop to install water, sewer, street, infrastructure, and future tax rebate agreement once installation is complete. That's also in your packet.
This is the revised agreement that we talked about last month. And I did talk to the owner, and he is in agreement with this too. So,
And I saw them already digging over there.
yes. And the water sewer plans have been submitted to DEQ for their approval. Also submitted plans to ODOT to get the approval to go under the highway also, so.
Are we gonna have to ask for DOT for making the road wider too? Cause wouldn't they want the road wider over by Stewart C?
No, because that's not there.
It's not there.
I mean, the approachment maybe, yes. Like, the driveway permit, is that, no, because, like, the approach to the highway? Is that what you're talking about?
Main Street.
You know, Main Street keeps going,
Yeah, but the main street is ours, is the city,
but
so
did they wanna have us widen that? Is that,
that may have to be, I don't know. I know ODOT already has the driveway permits, so I don't know about because we've already signed off on the driveway permits with ODOT, so I'm not sure about that.
of course, I don't know how the intersection's coming back to
Yeah,
the highway.
ODOT's working really fast with us, so they're being really helpful, so.
Okay, but ODOT will
Yeah.
take care of that.
Are they doing that work up there on the sewer lines themselves, or they actually got contract plumbers up there?
They haven't started
What do you mean?
on this.
They're doing the sewer lines?
This right here?
Yeah.
They haven't started yet.
So where they doing it, where,
Up where?
at the truck stop?
At the truck stop, they're starting on the building.
I thought I saw somebody doing it on the
Yeah.
east side of the road.
That's why I asked.
Yeah, they've been digging like,
Yeah.
like 250 feet.
Oh, I don't know.
There's a backhoe out there.
I'll have to call and ask, I'm not so sure.
That's why I said it was already working on the line. It was coming from the dollar store. Because I was looking, also somebody had gone out there and picked up some of that trash out there. It was looking better.
That was a community service person.
It was
We had a
looking-
community service person, so that's where we sent him.
I'll make a motion to accept the contract with Howdy Truck Stop.
Second?
Cliff,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes,
David,
Yes.
F, discussion with possible action on the Pavilion Hennessy SOKOL Old High School Auditorium Gym and Pat Hennessy Park Tower as presented by the trustee Richard Simonic, excuse me. Hennessy, I apologize.
I've been cautioned Monica about as many times as Cindy.
Sorry about that.
Is that Hennessy School or Hennessy Social School?
Well, let me go through this. We had on a fire truck in addition to the fire department building, we had two presentations to go to the county to get the money that Hennessy has there. And that is what you normally see with going after grants, or if you trying to set up a giving program, you need something like that. You just cannot go in empty-handed without some kind of schematic, some kind of model, some kind of stated purpose. In the December meeting, the town council said they didn't want the legacy program here, but if I would take the lead on it, and Bert and I talked about it after the meeting, and I'll be glad to do that, and also submit grants. But I need something to go in with, and I'd like to start with the pavilion. The town came, I offered the lots to the town. I said you can have the lots, and if you just want to keep it in green grass, that's good enough, and you can have the lots. And then the town came back with 4 years later with the idea of a pavilion, which I think is an excellent idea. I'd like to make the pavilion something very attractive architecturally. I talked to the architect and told him what was being kicked about and if he could do a schematic and how much he would charge. And he said, well, when you talk about the pavilion, he said, you really need a model rather than a schematic. So I went to Hobby Lobby and I mocked up that model.
Can you drag it out, Richard?
Let me get out of the way. It doesn't have to be this model. Ignore the buildings and stuff, but we need something in front of a foundation of whatever. Bert and I talked about it. If you Google Oklahoma foundations, for example, the Love Foundation, I think just now gave $10 million to the University of Oklahoma softball field. So, if it doesn't have to be just this, but I need a schematic, or if this model is some kind of rough approximation that this is what we would like. And I'm also looking for something passed by the town council that this pavilion is something we want to do. And with those two pieces, I could go in. I don't know if I got enough copies here. I made a dozen copies, I think I got enough. I'm not gonna make a motion or anything to do this or that, but I want you to think about it. And maybe in the next town council meeting, we can take some action on it.
Is this a model you've had before, or was that something,
Pardon?
is this a model you've done recently? Or
No, this is the one I had.
That's what I thought, okay.
Yeah.
This is an earlier one, okay.
You know, when you do something like this, I'll make a couple of comments on this. Ignore the buildings. You could take this building, you could put it down here, you could take this building and put it in the center. You could make the entrance here and that sort of thing. But the two things I want to stress is, first, I would like, the architecture of the building should emphasize our petroleum industry and our wind industry. That's where all our employment was. When I graduated in the 60s, when I was in school here as a kid, population is 1,200. We're over, I've seen population estimates as high as 2,300. We're an old town. We're not a farm town anymore. The second reason I would like to, I have the windmills in here. Jack and I talked about this one time. I have the windmills in here, and I also trying to, this is supposed to look like a refinery. And these are supposed to be like highway road signs. I've seen that before. The second reason I wanted to emulate the wind and the oil industry, they have large foundations, so I don't want to make it sound like we'll go to an oil foundation, give a big check, and it's all done and over with. But that's where I would start. So if the two things I would like, if the architecture honored our petroleum and wind industries. The other thing is, when these are done in large cities, what they'll do is they'll take a street or an alley and make it into a pedestrian walkway. And when you do that, what'll happen, these buildings will remodel the back, and it brings the pavilion into Main Street. It's a way of boosting Main Street. You would do the walkway where you can still run your trucks through, do your trash pickups and deliveries and that sort of thing. But instead of having asphalt, maybe you would have a paver or something like that. So if you look at this is the motion I would make at the next town council meeting. And you can take a look and read that. The Hennessy Town Council supports and endorses the construction of a pavilion to provide much-needed year-round multi-purpose facility for town events and to serve as a catalyst in boosting Main Street businesses and retail sales. The pavilion's architecture will uniquely reflect Hennessy's important industries of petroleum and electric generating windmills. The pavilion will provide for retail space when not in use for a public event. The alley behind 200 South Main Street will be enhanced to serve as a pedestrian walkway, thus linking and integrating the pavilion and its events to Main Street. Hennessy's contribution will be 2 parcels of land valued at $50,000 and $47,000 bordering the 200 block of South Main, plus a pledged endowment for operating expenses and maintenance. The acquisition of the 2 land parcels solves the greatest problem in establishing the pavilion. Grants and legacy gifts will be sought to construct the pavilion. I don't know how long the town has owned those lots, but I'd like to get something started on it. And we need some kind of pavilion plan. If it's not this, that's fine. But before I start doing the leather work on the legacy giving and talking to some of these foundations, I need something from the town council.
So is this all the town's property that they bought from the lumber company and your property back there? Okay.
And I'd like to give the 11 lots to the town. I'm tired of cutting the grass, Tiffany. I got that little mower. You guys got the Hennessy's got a big mower. They can whiz over it in 10 minutes and be done with it. But I'd like to go ahead and transfer those 11 lots. And I repeat, when I told the town about the 11 lots, I told them if they just wanted to keep it all in grass and just hold events there. In DC, they would throw tents up on the mall all the time for an event. And I lived in Miami for a while. They did the same thing on the beach. When the Super Bowl was played there, the whole beach was covered with tents and stuff. So,
Richard, I'm a visual learner.
pardon?
I'm a visual learner. I need help here. Can you
Okay.
show me where Main Street is right there on that model?
Main Street is here.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Main Street, this is the Champlain gas station.
Okay, yeah.
This is the old hospital.
I understand where we're at now. Yes, sir. I get it.
They had wide streets on the railroad side of Main Street, and I think the thinking was there's going to be businesses there, and there were going to be deliveries coming off the train, so they made the streets wider on the east side. So you could do something nice with the street to enhance it. You
Absolutely.
could put in a green border, for example.
Now, the 11 lots that you're talking about, that you own currently,
Yes,
they're behind that Champlain
yeah.
service station. They're in that green area there.
Yeah, the 11 lots will be over here, then the town.
Oh, okay. Even off of
The
off
old
of the,
lumberyard site.
okay, I got you. Okay.
Would the agreement with the architect be then, if we have the money to build it, then we pay him, or do we have to pay in advance?
The architect,
Uh-huh.
well, he told me $7,000, so I just dropped the subject.
Oh, okay.
But he's real nice to me. He's real nice to me. He said, Richard, what you really need is a model. He says, for something like this, you need a model. So, you know, architects do something like this all the time.
Oh, yeah.
They do it much better than I did it, but
I wonder if you could go to like an architect school and maybe get one of their students to use it as a project.
I tried that, Tiffany.
Oh, you did, from OSU?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he went I told him what I wanted to reflect the wind and the openings, and they came out with these very beautiful but wildly contemporary buildings.
Oh,
I'll bring them in if you want. I took a couple of the models, they gave them to me. The contemporary buildings are really nice. What they turned out was really nice, but if you're going to go to the oil wind industry foundations, it'd be nice to have built architecture that reflected that industry. I just don't want to sit around anymore. I'd like an up or down decision.
So, Richard, so what are you asking the town for? Permission to just start?
I'm asking for
promoting
permission, and I'll work with Tiffany. I'm not going to put work on Tiffany, but I'm going to keep her informed what I'm doing, because if we did get something, the town would have to administer it. But what I'm asking for two things: a schematic, or if this model is acceptable, to get a start. And secondly, I'm asking for something like this. You can think about it and rewrite it, I don't care. But I need something solid to go in. I just can't go in, Jack, and say, here I am.
No, this is awesome. This is
Yeah.
fabulous. Yeah.
I got the fire department, look what they did to go to the county to get funds that belong to Hennessy. The county commissioners have to approve it. So you did that presentation for our own money.
Well, they got excess money too.
Yeah,
They got ARPA fund money too
yeah,
from them.
but Bert put
they had to
together,
approve it though, yeah, that's the way it works.
yeah, but Bert put that presentation together for a reason.
But we also approved that though, right? At
Yes.
the election.
And that's kind of what I'm looking for here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they said, you had to approve use of your land for that too, yeah, and you did.
I mean, I noticed, 'cause once that fire department deal went on, I got some friends that run the drumming, the chief of the Drummond Fire Department. And I went to him, they got a nice, beautiful fire station, so to walk on with. And I went and asked him, asked him how all that was. He said, well, more or less, when we voted on it to put it in the county, it took it out of the hands of the town to build something like that, So we don't have the right to vote on them building the fire station. They got to, which our guys did a good job, they saved their money to build that one. So, that's,
And the other thing on this, it'll have to be, whatever is proposed, it doesn't have to be this, but whatever is proposed will be done in stages. We're not gonna get one blank check and say, here, do the whole thing. But, Jack, we talked, I think you were the one that suggested to just put the roof up. And then maybe later on we put the sides up, then later on maybe we can put in air conditioning and heating, that sort of thing. It'll be done in stations. If you look at Bricktown, they've been at it since 1980, I think, when they passed that first maps thing.
Yeah.
And so that's 40 years. So I'm gonna make this motion in the next town council meeting, so if I'd like some feedback and what you're thinking is on it.
Well, I've got a comment.
Okay.
I like your approach to start with the pavilion instead of trying to shotgun blast everything. I think the pavilion as one of the first projects I would say it's even a great idea instead of saying good. I just don't, me as a new guy on the board, I just don't know enough about the Hennessy's contribution will be 2 parcels of land. And I don't know how I would vote on that with the limited knowledge that I have right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a very good question. But generally, when you go for grants, they're gonna ask for a contribution from the person or entity seeking the grant.
Yes, sir. I remember you talking about
Yeah.
that.
It'll probably be 20 to 25%.
Yeah, we gotta put some skin in the game.
Gotta put some skin in the game. But it can be in kind.
Mhm.
In kind, which means, it could even mean town employees do some work out there, and that work is worth
Yeah.
$10,000, that sort of thing.
Another thing I'll say is I'm kind of old fashioned. I appreciate the lead time. You're gonna bring this up again next month, and so that gives me plenty of time to go driving around town and looking at stuff. And I'll probably, are you gonna leave that here, or are you gonna secure that somewhere else?
Tiffany, could I park it over here? And I will meet with anybody and go through it.
And next meeting, Richard, in my travels, I've been collecting pavilion photos
Okay.
of, whenever I go to a community, I check out their square, or, their entertainment area, and I've been taking photos, so I have some reference of what this could look like.
My hope is it would be small, it wouldn't be a big project when you look at what Enid has, or Oklahoma City, Orlando, Florida, it's huge what they have, but that it might, like the swimming pool might draw in out-of-town events or something. So, like an old tractor show or something, like Fairview does that 2-cylinder John Deere show, and they got people from California and North Carolina coming to that thing. So, okay, so much for the pavilion.
So like on the pavilion, you're not asking about all these other buildings? Or you just want to start working on the pavilion?
I'd like to work on the library. Let me get to that next. And Cliff, you had a successful program with your park
Oh,
collecting, I had the flyer, I was gonna bring it in, but I forgot. But you got
been very successful with that. We're still adding on
and you got a large donation for that, I think.
small ones. I mean, you know, there's been lots and lots of people involved in it.
Yeah, that's what happens.
And I really thought you might have misspelled this. I almost changed it and I'm like, no, because he has old school on there, so this has to be right.
Sending emails and what is that? Oh, you don't get it anymore.
I was like, what email?
Yeah. What email?
I mean, I can go look at it if I need to.
This is like the pavilion. We have something sitting there and nothing is happening. And if I'm to approach people, I need to know what the town wants. I'm calling the Old Tennessee School plant the Sokol. The Sokol movement was founded in Prague in 1862 based upon the principle of physical, moral, and intellectual training. The Sokol's founding principle was a sound mind in a sound body. The movement spread across the Austrian, Hungarian, and Russian empires. Expression found its way through libraries, theatrical performances, and gymnastics. And I took this from Wikipedia. And this is from my dad's one-room school book. Jim Peach was my father. Jim was 13 years old when the family came to Chicago. His first job was as a tailor. He spent his free time at the Sokol. So I've heard, in the town council meeting, I've heard on more than one occasion people pointing to, Mustang? They're west of Oklahoma City. They have all their facilities in one location. The library, the town administrative offices, the swimming pool, it's all in one location. And I think Fairview must have something like that. I've not been to Fairview and checked them out. But with the Sokol, when people think of the Old Tennessee High School, they think of the library and nothing else. But it's many things. It's a town museum. It's archives. It has a very nice war memorial. When I have a guest come, one of the first places I do is I go to the Old Tennessee High School and I go to that World War II plaque on the wall, and I said, this is our equivalent of the Vietnam Memorial. And they really like it. Ortman Theater, gymnasium. Actually, there's two gymnasiums out there. One is south of the high school building, one is the auditorium stage, because that was a basketball. If you roll the curtain back, you'll see how big that space is. And then we have the library. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all this stuff is in there. Now, I'm going to focus on just one thing, on the War Memorial. This Hennessy Sokol contains the War Memorial honoring those Hennessy boys serving in World War II. The War Memorial also recognizes and honors those Gold Star Hennessy soldiers who gave their lives and those Silver Star Hennessy soldiers wounded in battle. Here are a few accounts. I did Dale Birkenbaum. I just did one. I was going to do several. I thought, no, that'll get too confusing. Dale is being shipped out to Europe. So let's turn to page 2. The color band of the 80th Division was loaded in trucks and drove. This is Dale writing to his mother. The color band of the 80th Division was loaded in trucks and drove beside us until they came to the end of the road. They played Over There in our 95th Division song, which would touch anyone's heart if he had any at all. He went through Salinas, Kansas, and all along the tracks people were waving goodbye to the 94th. Next letter. You know, a funny thing happened this evening. He's now in Europe. You know, a funny thing happened this evening. As I sat near my foxhole, the jury sent around a dozen shells over in about 10 or 15 minutes, and I counted 8 ducks that didn't explode. In that same letter, he wrote, "Say, Mom, when you get home, I wish you would put some lightweight oil on my wheels of my roller skates. I might be counting my chickens before they hatch, but if you didn't look forward to the future, he would go nuts." Before Dale's mother got that letter, Dale was killed 3 days later after sending that letter. Dale Birkenbaugh, July 26th. Dale Birkenbaugh was killed 22 days after landing in Normandy from injuries sustained by incoming German artillery at Saint-Lô, France, as the Allies were trying to break out of Normandy. Dale died 3 days after writing his July 23rd letter to his mother. Now, what is real interesting is the Birkenbaugh family heritage. Dale's grandfather and grandmother Birkenbaugh immigrated from Germany to America, but refused to speak German in their household. Grandfather Birkenbaugh said, "Now that we are in America, now we're going to be Americans." America's story is Hennessy's story. Hennessy's story is America's story. It is the story of building and protecting a mighty nation and democracy. It is the story of immigration and assimilation. Nowhere is America's story told so compelling as in the Hennessy Museum in the Hennessy Sokol. If the Hennessy Sokol is destroyed, the compelling story and history of Hennessy is destroyed. America's in Hennessy's great story will be taken to the town dump. Page 3. This is what Dale went through. Look at that picture. That's what Dale went through. Any soldier caught coming in that incoming artillery didn't stand a chance. Page 4. This is the one-room school that Dale attended. He's on the right. I have him circled. This is in 1936. Jerry Vaverka is an interesting story. He was a turret gunner on a bomber during World War II. The plane was hit with shrapnel, and Jerry always carried a prayer book in his pocket. And that pocket stopped the shrapnel. The family still has that prayer book in their possession. So he wasn't killed, but he came near being killed. Aileen Birkenbaugh, she was a Rosie the Riveter during World War II. A lot of people from this area went up to Wichita to work on the B-29 bomber. So if you said, here you did a display, there's not any room to do a display like this in our museum. We're out of space. The museum, the hallway is full of displays. You don't go to a museum and see a hallway with exhibits. You go into the room. So we can't expand the story of Hennessy. The next page. There are 200 and I believe 76 names on that board. The names are up there. Those that were killed had the gold star.
Is this in the library?
This is at the library.
I guess I've never seen it. Or maybe I just...
When I have an out-of-town visitor, this is the first place I take them. I said,
When you said that, I thought you were talking about some little bitty thing, but
this is where I take them, and I say,
nice.
this is our Vietnam Memorial Board, they're equivalent to the Vietnam Board on the mall in Washington, D.C. 276. And it doesn't include everybody from Hennessy, because the people that are included are the ones that went to Hennessy High School. At that time, the Czechs did not send their children to high school. Attending high school was not required in Oklahoma before World War II. It was after World War II. So, Jerry Vaverka, if it hadn't been for that book, he would have been killed. He would have been a Gold Star soldier. Joe Sedlak. He was on a bomber. They were bombing the Polotsi, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, it's the oil fields in Romania that was feeding the German army. Their plane was shot down, he bailed out. They were over Yugoslavia, so he could speak. He spoke Czech, he could communicate with the Yugoslavians, and they got him out of the country. They smuggled him out of the country. All these stories could be told if we had room in the old high school building, and we do have it if we go into the auditorium. We have all the room in the world. Next page. Here's a list of the towns in northwest Oklahoma. This is taken from the Red Carpet magazine. And you can see many small towns have established museums. Crescent has a nice museum. And Fairview has a nice museum, and so does Enid.
The Crescent one was done by a grant.
Pardon?
The Crescent one was done by a grant. The Crescent one was done by a grant.
Good. So maybe we need to mosey over to Crescent and see where they got it from. And
Yeah, I started to say, you probably know, how did,
Yes, because it was done when I was over there.
where did they apply, I mean, where did they get the grant from? The feds or state?
I think it was a state.
They collected $186,000 from Crescent citizens.
Yes, but it was also matched by
Good.
some,
That's what we-
some grant funding.
That's what I'd like to do. I'm
Yeah.
glad you told me that because I want to march over there and, but again, I want,
I think it was the Historical Society.
Oh, okay, probably, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not going to make this
because it wasn't part of the town, it was its own entity.
amendment. We have that marvelous building, the old Tennessee School and the old gym, and we're sitting on it. How long have we had it, since the mid-1980s? I can't remember when we took legal title of it. So we've had it for 40 years.
It was before it was the early 80s,
84, 85.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was,
Because I was fourth
they did it
grade.
after we came here, we came in
I was
78,
fifth
so.
grade. I was fifth grade and I graduated in the 90s, so it was 82, 80.
Yeah,
It was-
it was probably in the mid to late 80s, so
Okay.
I could look it up, but.
So I would like, if I'm going to go pound some leather, getting funding for that building, I want to know what the town wants to do. Either get some dynamite and blow the building up, or we make it something that is, it's very nice, but it's a fire trap.
Did you meet with the architects on this building?
Yes. And I don't know if they're going to send a report back or something, I don't know. They didn't say anything I didn't expect. It's an old building. The wiring needs to be replaced for starters. And I know some of it's been replaced. I'd like two things. One is some kind of statement from the town council that we support this, and some kind of schematic, which we don't have, of what it could be. Now, Bert and I talked after, I guess it was in a December meeting we talked, and he said he wanted to get those architects. They designed the fire department building. He thought maybe he could get a cut rate deal or a lower price.
I thought those were the ones that you talked to.
Yeah, that's the ones I talked to. Bert couldn't be there. He had to be somewhere else. The question you're going to ask, if we get some dynamite, blow up the building, what are you going to do with everything that's inside of it? What are you going to do? I'm gonna make that motion in the next town council meeting. And I'll be happy to meet with anyone on anything, grants, legacy giving, architecture, you name it. I'm gonna I'll make this quick. I could tell everybody's yawning and because I bored everybody to death. I'm gonna do the sales collection thing, but that's something I watch all the time.
Hold on, Richard,
That's the next agenda item.
that's the next agenda item.
Oh, okay.
Now, like, Richard, you had me going with.
I forgot one thing I want to bring up. The Lacey situation of a few years ago. Remember the town, Hennessy was going to sell that building. Lacey gave the building to Hennessy Schools. Hennessy Schools decided they didn't want the building and were going to put it up for sale. The Lacey community, when they found out what was going on, they hired an attorney and fought it. Because they know if they lost that building, they lost their history, their culture.
And on all this right here, you're wanting to do, Richard, the pavilion and all that other stuff. Now you, kind of putting your feet in a lot of different irons, aren't you?
Well, I'm not content to sit here for 40 years and do nothing.
Well, I understand that, but I mean, you gonna go and hit them all up on once on all of that, or what? I'm just asking.
Okay, it depends on the foundation. If I go to a oil company or a wind company, I'm not going to talk about the library. I'm going to talk about the pavilion.
Good.
And there's other foundations. Barbara, I know you're not going to like this. The Reynolds Foundation gave millions and millions of dollars to the University of Tulsa.
The problem is it has to have his name on them.
The Reynolds Sokol at Hennessy. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, that was the
Yeah,
problem from the newspaper standpoint, is why we
yeah.
didn't ever apply for anything, the State Press Association.
And in this grant giving and foundation giving, you can take a room, an auditorium or a hall and say, this is the Smith
Yeah.
Hall in the Reynolds Sokol at Hennessy. You know. And what's OU got on their stadium? It's the
Gaylord.
Gaylord. Mhm. On the tower, I had one more subject in this item before I go to the sales stuff. I think you were getting you're going to get some bids on the Hennessy Tower.
Mhm.
Have you had a
I
chance?
have
know
that
the
on here.
town's-
I think that's part of their, they haven't brought me their capital outlay items for this next year, so
Oh,
I
okay.
think that's part of it.
So we want to table this action till next month, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He was just bringing this up to us at this time for discussion.
The reason I'm putting it off, it's kind of mentally, it's kind of a large commitment as well as financially, but I don't think people have a feeling yet for grants and foundations and what's being kicked around.
I think what we're just trying to talk about is maybe just concentrate on one thing instead of trying to do all things at the same time.
But you don't know what, the legacy giving is driven by emotion. You don't know who's gonna give what, and you don't know when it's gonna happen.
I agree.
For example, out of the blue, we got a donation for the chapel at the cemetery. Out of the blue, you know. And your Methodist church, the project they're doing, you know, out of the blue. It's where your emotion is. So there's people that could care less about the museum, the so-called the library, that sort of thing. They could care less. Maybe they're motivated by the war memorial at the Sokol.
Yeah.
So you have two different audiences, you don't know where they are. And if you look at Oklahoma City, they got a $1.1 billion foundation endowed funds. Enid's got a bunch of money. They're all for different things. I think Enid has over 200 categories. So they're collecting for 200 categories in Enid, Oklahoma. So we can do 2 categories here. And
I think what he's saying is we don't actually have to be working on the projects, but we can be collecting for them.
yeah, we would be out begging for money. Because we can't do it with the town budget. They just can't get you get close. And if, I'll repeat something, if we agree on what we want on that pavilion, I'd like to go ahead and give those lots to the town. I'm tired of taking care of.
Can I suggest something though,
Mhm.
Richard? Can we hold off on giving us the lots, because maybe if we can see for just a little bit, I know you're tired of taking care of them. But if we can kind of see how this legacy goes with the pavilions, because if you can find a grant for the town to apply for, we can use that giving of your lots as a contribution.
In-kind contribution.
In-kind contribution. But if the town already owns them, we cannot.
I see, okay. Okay, I'm O'Grass.
Okay, thank you very much, Richard. Discussion with possible action taken, update sales tax collections as presented by the trustee, Richard. And he already handed that.
I just did a handout, I'm gonna do this each month to watch. Let's go to page 2. There let's look at the 3 months of 2022, January, February, March. And January, good grief, it jumped up to 125,000. And then it dropped to about 115,000, and it dropped to 97,000. So the 3-month average was 112,000 and some change. Compared to the 3 months of 2021, January, February, March, the average was 94,508. So it did go up. That's the positive. And I think I thought we would go through this year and establish the new normal, but now with this Ukraine thing going on, it's going to affect everything. So I don't know, we'll know what the new normal is going to be for another year or 2. I think we got a bunch of money from the, Tiffany, we're using what's it called? There was a grant, there were 2 large federal programs, and we're using a bunch of it this year, I believe.
We're not using the ARPA money yet. We got half the ARPA money, but we're not using it yet.
But it's counted as part of our income, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, it's counted. And if you, on page 4 of this handout,
That's the sales tax graph.
yeah, the sales tax. That first paragraph, sales and use taxes received through March 2022 amounted to $1,173,999, which represents an increase from the same period the prior year of approximately $176,000, or a positive 17.65%. Considering the 4 cents tax rate, this translates in a decrease in taxable sales for the period from 2021 to 22 of approximately $4,403,550. So anyway, I watch these things. It looks like I think we're headed up, but especially with the Family Dollar Store going in and the new truck stop. The thing to watch on the truck stop is that they're gonna pull business from the Sinclair station that's there on the corner, and if they open a nice restaurant up, which I'm fully supportive of, but it's gonna hurt the other restaurants, so we'll lose some sales tax too, you know, it all won't be 100% gain from the truck stop, but the truck stop is certainly,
It won't be 100% gain, but I think it will be a gain.
it will be a gain, especially if they put in that truck, if they repair part of it.
Well-
It's a huge positive for the
Right.
town.
Right now, there is not a convenience store, a 24-hour convenience store in town.
No. So St. Clair's not doing that anymore.
They're fixing to start back up. Next week, I think, or the 1st of May.
Loves or?
Love's is gonna open back up 24 hours.
That's good, because I just noticed that in February that Sinclair shut down, so.
Yeah.
Katie, what did you say? Love's gonna open?
Love's, they're gonna go back to 24
But
hours.
they are.
Yeah, I think it's next week or the beginning of May, I don't remember.
When I first moved to Hennessy, I woke up 2 o'clock in the morning and I wanted a snack. But there was no refrigerator in the house that first week I moved back, so I put my pants on and walked down to the St. Clair station, and I was surprised what goes on at 2 o'clock in the morning in this town. There's a lot of traffic and people out there.
Okay.
May I ask a question? Timmy, I may have asked this before. Is there any way that you can tell why we're up and down and up and down? Are there certain, maybe, is it oil that's not, I mean, oil and gas?
Some people are quarterly
Yeah,
payers.
right, so that affects it. But you can't tell, I'm asking like one industry or one area,
Like,
where you can tell that, do what?
January was real busy for the oil field. That was an excellent month for almost all the oil field companies. And
So it's gonna reflect
February.
in March then,
And
right?
February was real good,
Yeah.
but about the middle of March, the oil field is coming back down.
Yeah, but there's a 2-month delay from the time we
Yes.
get the money.
I will tell you that this month is down, and that was February. So the money that we just collected in April, and that was February. February is a short month also. And so, so you'll see that next month it was down.
Yeah, I was
So-
surprised it was down.
But yeah, and it was.
'Cause like
So,
most of your oil companies, their year ends in like June 31st. So usually by the end of May and all of June is once they figure out how much money they spent during the year and how much money they got left over, you'll see another little boom go through.
But, well, does that apply to, because we have so many service companies here, is that service companies too?
Just, well, service companies just, trying to get whatever work we can.
Right.
but service companies doesn't apply to sales tax
Right.
because they're providing a service. It's gonna
True.
be your, products.
Sales.
But like though, just for example, my fuel bill alone for the month of January was $4,500.
But fuel doesn't count either because
Yeah.
that is gonna go on the fuel tax. That's not gonna be on
I'm
sales
just
Any
using
tax.
an example.
any equipment or anything that these people buy, they're paying the sales tax to wherever it originated, or,
Wherever the point of delivery
yeah,
is.
well, if the point of delivery's
If
here.
they deliver the vehicle here or the equipment here. But if they go get the equipment there, then that's where the point of sale is.
Yeah.
We have no way to control that though.
Well, I know, I think that's why we have noticed, like, the Kingfisher gets up real high. And I mean, we've had the comment, I think, that, okay, Pioneer must have bought a bunch of things because, and that's where they had, the point of delivery was there. Although it could have been for the Hennessy location, that
I
was their
think some
point.
of ours is our building stuff too,
Okay,
when they deliver building supplies, building materials.
yes, okay.
Were you able to see any bump April of last year when that car show came through? Was there any? And the reason I bring that up is that the big tree in Enid brought an additional 10 million in just in the month of December. And I'm wondering if big events truly affect our sales tax.
April would have been. June, July.
Yeah, maybe I don't know if they were digging for it, I'm just curious but, you know, when you bring a couple thousand extra people into town, does that?
I don't have that.
Can you see the difference?
Yeah, that and then September with the Wine and Chocolate Festival, but we really didn't have a big crowd this last time,
Yeah,
you know.
it's not, I don't think those are ones that are that significant with our small amount of tax that we can really see.
What about like the rodeo? I mean, they have just gone gangbusters, I mean,
I mean, everything helps,
yeah.
Sure,
but,
but there's no big spikes or, based on how you get your tax money, yeah,
yeah,
okay.
I mean,
So Hennessy doesn't get any gas tax, and there's no city?
we get fuel tax, but it's very, it's not that much. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
The feds in the state take the majority of the fuel tax.
Okay, we got new business, any matter not known or which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of posting the agenda in accordance with the section 311-9 title 25 OS.
I got a couple of things.
Oh, no, that would be councilperson's report.
Council
I'm
person.
sorry?
Citizen comments?
Okay, got it.
No citizen comments? Okay, now, councilperson, go right ahead.
Okay. And I'm gonna, to be honest with you, I'm gonna do this stuff kinda like Richard's doing. I just wanna talk about it for a minute, and then I'm gonna have some more information in detail for next month's meeting, okay?
Excellent.
The folks that, speaking of the rodeo, the folks that operate the rodeo talk to me, and they're concerned, you know, and they may be wrong, I don't know. That's why I've got to look into it. Their concern is that the rodeo grounds belongs to the city, and the city only mows it twice a year. And this, again, you know, what I said is I want to look into it. The problem that, the lack of mowing over there, the problem that they're saying that it generates is, the weeds get big and they get strong, and then when they do get cut off, they're strong stubble, and it impacts the horses' feet, livestock feet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does to me. You know, and again, like I said, I wanna look at it, and, because when I've been over there several times, and most of it looks like dirt, but once it starts raining again, you know, I'm anxious to see what happens over there. And I don't know, I'm guilty of not knowing the date of the rodeo.
It's in August.
End of August?
Yeah.
They have two.
They have a spring,
They
yeah.
have a spring one in and one in
I
August.
think there's one coming up, but
Yeah.
I haven't gotten the date.
They usually come and put them on the calendar, but they haven't yet.
I just, you know, if we could fix that problem with one extra mow-in or something, we might wanna do that. That's where I'm going with this. But again, I wanna look at it and talk about it again next meeting, if that's all right with you guys.
Can I ask that you come and talk to me about those things?
Absolutely.
Because that would be something that I make sure that the workers, if there's problems
Sure.
with the workers.
Yeah, you know, and again, I'm not saying any negative thing about anybody.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
but that's just something that I could probably maintain, or I could take care of.
Right.
And that wouldn't even have to
Yeah,
come,
understand.
because that would be a daily operational
Yeah.
item instead of a policy thing.
Yeah, and you know, I'm still the new guy,
Oh, I know.
you know, and their folks are coming to me. You know, they're calling me and talking to me, and to be honest with you, I don't wanna ignore anything that people bring to me, you know, so, all right. I'm gonna move to a different topic unless, you know, anybody else wanna, okay. My next topic is, traffic cameras. I have lived in municipalities that decided to start using traffic cameras, specifically for safety, to control speeding. And it works, is what I'm saying. Side benefits of that include, let's talk about some of the criminal activity we've had in Hennessy here fairly recently. I don't want to say real recently, but the Sinclair was robbed. It's been, what, a year? Something like that.
It's been a couple.
There was a trailer stolen from DNC, the trailer shop here on Main Street. And then fairly recently, they chopped a hole in the back wall on the pharmacy down here. Okay? Now, traffic cameras, they're not gonna stop that stuff, but we might catch video of the folks leaving town, if that makes sense. And I haven't talked to anybody about this. I just wanted to introduce it tonight. I haven't talked to Aaron. I haven't got his opinion on it. I haven't done anything. I just want to float it to you guys, because if we have traffic cameras out on 81 north and south and 51 east and west, strategically placed, we might be able to catch a lot more than just speeding. And I think it would be a good thing. From me talking to some other folks, and it's been 4 or 5 years ago, I talked to some city people in other states. And the way I wanted to find out how it works, and I took that information and kind of put it in the back of my mind for future use, and I'm thinking now might be the time to use it. The way it works, or the way I've seen it work, is it's done by contractors. We will contract with a company, they will show up, and they will put the cameras up, and they take care of everything. And if you get the right company, and then for speeding ticket fines, it's automated, and the tickets are sent out by the contractors, not by City Hall.
Is that legal in Oklahoma?
I don't know. Again, I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna research it. Will everybody in Hennessy be interested and happy about those cameras? Probably not. But I'm gonna tell you, I can drive around town here in one day, and I'm saying this because I've been watching it for several years. And right here on 2nd Street where I live, we got people running up and down through there, spinning tires, leaving tire marks on the pavement. I see it on 81. I see it on 51. I see it on side streets. I think we need to get serious about people hot rodding and speeding through town. We have a very diverse blend of people. We have many elders. And where I live over there on 2nd Street, when the high school's out in the afternoon, they come boiling around Walnut and turn on 2nd Street. And then the senior center's right on down at the end of the street. And there's a mixture of 16-year-olds driving with, 60, 70, 80-year-olds. And it's pretty darn ugly. 2 years ago, I had a man working for me, working in my yard, and a teenager came around that corner on Walnut and ran over him with a pickup truck. And the police responded. So if anybody wants to look the history up on that, or I may do that too. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling now, and I realize that. Back to the criminal activity in town, the traffic cameras would free up our police officers to do more crime prevention activities. Examples being patrolling, or actually doing the old-fashioned thing, check buildings to make sure they're locked. Do some footwork instead of, sitting, doing traffic control on 81 in the middle of the night. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, it's a good thing, but I'm saying that the traffic cameras would give Aaron or whoever the chief is a lot of flexibility with what he could do with his officers. And let me say one more thing, I forgot something. Another recent incident that we had that I caught in the police report actually was 4 vehicles vandalized all in one night. And they were kind of sort of spread out in town. So the bad guys are here among us. And I recommend that we put some heavy thought into doing something about it. And, Aaron, if he's our interim chief, I know he has a lot of experience, and he may vouch for me. He may support me in what I'm trying to do, or trying to think about doing anyway. So I will talk to him between now and next month's meeting, and I'll do some research on the contractor type companies that are willing to do that work. Like I said earlier, I've seen it work. And another thing that I will say here is last year I spent some time at Canton in town, and they had a patrol system. I was worried about my boat, and I asked the lady, the resort, the cabins where I stayed, I asked the lady, I said, where can I park my boat? And she said, oh, just park it right over there under that tree, which was out in the dark. And I didn't want to do that. And she said, well, yeah, that's our house. Put it over there in our yard. And she said, don't worry. She said, the police come by here every 30 minutes. I didn't believe her. And I went in my cabin and retired for the evening, and every 30 minutes the cops would go by. I was impressed. And she said that there's basically no crime at all in that little town over there. So, all right, I'll hush.
We do
Thank you.
have a hot sheet for our police do patrol
Yeah.
people on the hot sheet.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying they don't patrol, I know they do.
Well, I know, but they have and they're probably on a hot sheet on the police department's hot sheet, and they patrol by there.
Yeah, I had a couple of incidents at my house, and I put up some security cameras, and I discovered 2 things. That our police force patrols our neighborhoods a lot more frequently than I thought they did. That's what my security cameras taught me. And my cameras also taught me that we have a lot of strange people driving around in the neighborhoods at night. Cars that don't belong, if that makes sense. So, enough said.
Thank you, David.
I'll talk to you guys about it again next month, and I'll try not to be so long.
Harold?
David, if you talk to these people, maybe they could come in to town council meeting,
Do
do
a
a
demo?
presentation.
I've already got that in mind, sir.
I got a ticket, 2 o'clock in the morning, going through a red light, and I didn't know about it.
They mailed it to you, didn't they?
They mail it to you, you open it up, you said citizens will object, but it's pretty hard where you have your car. Here's a red light, and here's your
Oh, yeah.
car.
Yeah, they send the picture.
It was a blessing.
Yeah.
It was a blessing.
Yeah.
Because I could have killed somebody, or,
Oh, yeah, make you pay more attention.
yeah.
It's a positive thing if people take it that way. I'll talk about it some more later.
Okay,
Thank
Harold,
you,
you have
Cliff.
anything to say? You're welcome. You got anything, Harold?
No.
Richard, you have anything?
No.
Make a motion
Oh, I
to
got
adjourn.
one thing. Is this the council's person's report?
Yes, sir.
This is off subject, but Cashion has high school graduating classes larger than Hennessy's. First time I've seen that.
Yeah.
Cashion someday will be the largest town in Kingfisher County. It'll be like Piedmont. And part of that, Barbara, is I think the Hennessy classes have declined. They're not quite as large.
And they got Oklahoma
But I think
City.
that's a flexible thing, they may have an 8th grade class that's coming up
Yeah.
where they've had to have, 2 extra teachers. It's,
You got Oklahoma City about 30 miles away from you.
True,
but
yeah.
A lot of people drive back and forth to work.
oh yeah,
Don't want to live in a big town.
Location,
Location.
yeah.
I talked to a lady in Cassia, and she said the people are coming, that are buying homes, really nice homes in Cassia. They're from Edmond. They want that big house, but at a cheaper price, or they want a larger acreage with it.
All right, make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
Harold,
Yes.
Cliff,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Richard.
No, yes, they got a yes, Katie.
Still got the other one.
We got Hennessy Utilities Board of Trustees, regular meeting, April 14, 2022, 6 PM. Town Hall Council Room, call to order, please.
David,
Here.
Cliff,
Yes.
Harold,
Here.
Richard.
Yes,
Consider approval of consent agenda. A, the minutes of the meeting. B, approval of the claims as follows. Number 1, March purchase orders, $4,111.06. April purchase orders, $52,360.83. April meter deposit refunds, I don't have it must be 0. Treasurer's report.
Yeah, treasurer's
Treasury
report.
report. Walk right in the door right then.
We don't have no money.
We're broke? Okay.
We're broke.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion to approve of the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Harold,
Yes.
Cliff,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Richard.
yes.
Citizen comments? Anybody? No? Number 4, other scheduled business, discuss, accept, approve, deny, reject, and/or take action on the following. A, discussion with a possible action approved to pay application number 1 for the Worth Hydrochem on reverse osmosis equipment replacement. You'll find that in your packet. It's of $21,646.21. Removal of that. This is to replace,
This is the first one to, it's in the, for the RO replacement.
right? And this is not what that we're gonna pay over,
This is paying with our
right.
loan.
Make a motion to approve the pay application number 1 for Worth Hydrochem on reverse osmosis equipment replacement.
I'll second that. Roll call,
Harold?
please.
Yes.
Cliff,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Richard.
Yes,
B, discussion with the possible action to approve new rules and rates for Citizen Transfer Station. You'll also find that in your packet.
So Shelley and I went to a class last week, a code enforcement class, and DEQ was there talking to us about solid waste. And they talked about the difference between a transfer station, citizen collection station, permitted, what has to be permitted, what doesn't have to be permitted. And a transfer station has to be permitted, a citizen collection station does not. Well, for a citizen collection station, it has to be residential trash only. Well, if you think about it, we've never enforced that. We've never enforced that it can only be residential trash only. And so, what I've done is I've went and found Kingfisher. They have changed theirs to a citizens collection station because I know when they had a transfer station, they got shut down by DEQ because they were permitted. And so they changed theirs to a citizen collection station so they don't have to go through the permitting of DEQ. And so I went and got their rates, rules, all of that off of their website and kind of copied them. And so I had brought that before you for the new rules and regulations, as well as kind of changed our summer, winter hours, and different things. So, commercial, customers, as well as landlords, any of that would no longer be able to dump with us.
You said the biggest thing when I was talking to you was that there's nothing allowed on the ground.
Correct.
Everything has to be off the
Except
ground.
for tree limbs.
There you go.
And bagged, right?
Yes.
I can't remember, with our sanitation rates, when they're gonna do the pickups once a month, I really haven't paid attention to, but should. Does that, I can't remember, does that include those that are also on the sanitation service but are outside the town limits?
Correct. Any residential customer that is paying,
Okay,
garbage with us, they get,
look at that monthly
they
pickup
get the
also.
bulky pickup,
Yeah.
yes. So.
And Tiffany, we really don't have a choice on this, because if we don't do something, we run the risk of being shut down.
Shut
For
down and being
everybody.
fined by DEQ, yes. And they said that they are starting to really patrol the solid waste, so.
I make a motion to accept the new rules and rates for the citizen transfer station.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Not until you second it, because there's already a motion on the table.
I'll second.
Okay, now you can ask a question.
Why are we going to credit card only?
I feel like that is there's really no checks and balances with cash down there. Because not everyone's getting a receipt. Our receipts and our cash are not balancing when it's coming here. To me, credit card is the only way that it is going to make sure that everything is accounted for. I know that that's one thing Kingfisher is credit card only.
You can't take checks.
We could,
I just know a lot of elders still just whip out their checkbook. Okay.
What about debit cards?
that's credit card, debit card, yeah.
I did not know that.
And I've gone to many convenience stores, and they're starting not to take cash. They only take credit cards.
Accountability problem.
They don't want people messing with money and trying to count it back, and, because I know as running a business, nobody can count change. I mean, and you even try to tell them, you gave me $1 too much? No, I didn't. Yes, you didn't. Okay, I'm not gonna argue with you. You're gonna be short. So, but that's, so the accountability's not there. There's not that, oh man, there's like $10 and nobody's gonna know I'm gonna take $10, so they'll take that away from them.
So is this like per item?
Yes, this is per item. Yeah, these rates are per item.
So if like someone's cleaning house and they could pay like up to hundreds of dollars to dispose of their trash.
Or they use the bulky pickup.
Well, yeah,
Right, yeah.
Is there a certain time of month that they do that?
Yeah.
'Cause-
It's on the
Yes.
website.
It depends on where you live.
Well, I knew that, but I didn't know if they did everybody like the last week of the month, or is it just sprinkled through the month?
It's sprinkled through the
Yeah.
month.
Yeah, mine's the second Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay,
Yours
It's
is
listed
the
on the
yours
website
is the
as the
fourth
first.
Wednesday.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Barb's is the third Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take my stuff over to her.
I'm amazed you
Yeah,
even
I
know
I'll
all
just
this
dump it in your
stuff.
front yard.
Harold's is the first Wednesday.
yours is the first Wednesday.
No, mine's the second. Yours is the second.
Yes.
I've never used it, so I honestly can't tell you.
Shelley's is the first.
I have.
That's why I said I should.
I've used it.
Yours is the third.
How do you keep all that in your head?
It worries me you know this off the top of your head.
It's split into town. It's split into sections. So,
You think-
the only one that throws me for a loop is Oakwood Drive. Cause they've changed Oakwood Drive, like where it fits into everything, so.
But you think with this increase, we're gonna start seeing more of that? Trash sitting on the side of the curb?
Or wherever. Well, then we'll have to tell them that they can only put it out that week. So,
Any other discussion?
but we've gotta do something. I will tell you that last week, we had to dump 5 containers. Like all 5 containers were full. It cost us $285 per container to dump it, right? $285? And we only collected $270.
That pretty well sums the issue.
Did you say we lost $20,000 last year on our dump?
I don't know exactly.
But big neighborhood. Any more discussion?
So are you gonna add checks to this or not?
We can.
You know? You're right, that is a problem for some.
Yeah. I know I'll get questions, so I'll just either yes or no, that's all, yeah. You have like a phone you can swipe cards with, is that?
Yeah, we're gonna
a
get
square thing,
a
yeah.
square thing.
Okay, roll call please.
Cliff,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes,
David.
Yes,
C, discussion on the water sewer garbage rates by year 2023.
So just so you know, and this is one I'm just bringing up tonight, and we're gonna talk about it further next month. Because it's all gonna be part of budget and different things, is that after talking with Alyssa, the prices of our chemicals and our products and all of that, and I'm gonna have it broke down, are going up. Our chemicals have gone up, 10 to 12%, I think, is what she told me. Some of our materials have gone up anywhere from 50% to 100%. So, and I'm gonna have it all broke down. So we're gonna have to look at raising our water rates, our water, sewer, garbage, and then I'm gonna get to see exactly how much the garbage, they're looking at the garbage. Cause I think in our contract, they have it to where they go up a certain percentage, so I'm gonna look at that and I'll tell you guys that. But, just so you know, and you have in your heads and prepared, that, we will have to look at something for our rates.
So when you do that, will you give us the rates for them dumping sewer down there? All these trucks coming in here dumping sewer?
We have cut them off.
What do you mean you cut them off?
They're no longer.
Since when?
Last week? Yeah.
last week?
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
yeah. So, yeah.
So,
But that was the money maker.
Well, they were causing us some problems, so. Bonnie was pulling rags out of our grinder, so.
yeah,
He has
So,
pictures, he'll
just-
show you what he pulled out.
just local companies now, just Tennessee companies gonna use it?
No, nobody.
Nobody?
Mm-mm. So, cause even our local companies were dumping for oil field companies, so, and those oil field
Yeah.
companies are the ones with the racks, and
Yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah.
so, yeah, so nobody's able to do that
Interesting.
right now, so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
New business, any matter not known or could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of the posting on the agenda, accordance with the section 311-9, title 250S.
I have something for that. So today, around 2:30, I get an email from Fleet. I called him from Cooper. I called him about 2 months ago and asked him if he, when I needed to start talking to him about new vehicles, because we were gonna have some, asking for some for next year for our budget, and he said, oh, well, June, July, that's when we'll start looking at ordering for next year. Well, and this was, I think, in January when I asked him. And so they told me they had 0 trucks until then. They, they won't have any until November again, but we'd order June, July. Well, then he came and he sent me this email today, that they had one available of this, Chevy 3500. It's a 2022, it's a 2-wheel drive, and it has a service bed on it. And, it's for $39,784. And to me, it would be an ideal truck for our water department because they would be able to put their tools in the bed, in the little cabinets or whatever you call it. So, and this would be something that we would be looking for them anyways, for next year. So I called him and asked him to put a hold on it for tonight, that I was having a meeting. And he told me I just have to give him a call in the morning to let him know what you guys say. So, anyway, I just thought I would pass it through you guys and see what you thought. The old fire truck, we changed the bed on it to be able to haul the new excavator that's coming in May. We put the flatbed on it for the new trailer and the excavator, so it doesn't have the tool thingy on it anymore, so.
Is this gonna be additional, or is this replacing?
It would replace the one that is out of commission now, because the engine, I'm not very familiar, but the engine is bad in it, and it's gonna cost about $4,000 to fix it, and it's a 2008,
Cause that's a really good price.
so, yeah.
It's a really good price.
It would be replacing the 2008 that just went kaput,
Since it's not on there, how do we approve this?
because it's under new business. Because it just came to me this afternoon.
I will make a motion to,
Will it be able to pull a trailer?
It has a trailer hitch.
Which
It's a 35, what is a 3500?
1 ton.
It's a 1 ton? I mean, it wouldn't be able to, I don't think it'd be able,
Could pull a pretty good sized trailer. I could pull a gooseneck, but
Yeah.
Do what?
it would pull a gooseneck.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the service body on it, but,
Depends on how tall the neck is.
yeah.
but it would be able to pull around the
Wouldn't be
little
able-
one
Wouldn't be
that we
able to pull
have.
a 50.
Yeah.
Gooseneck is.
When did the engine fail truck go down? You say a couple of months?
It's been about 2 months ago. I sent it to the auto body shop to have them look at it. And
What are we making?
we were having problems with it before with oil and stuff for the past couple of years and kind of limping it.
What are we making all of our trucks at?
Where do we maintenance? The guys change the oils and stuff, and they keep a maintenance log.
Our own people do that?
Mm-hmm.
And they do that is that the vehicle shop over on Arapahoe?
That's the street shop, but that's where they usually
That's
do.
where they do it?
Mhm. Now, the new vehicles that have warranties, I make them take them to the dealerships.
I make a motion to purchase the 3500 two-wheel drive regular cab for $39,874.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Cliff,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes,
David.
No.
Let's see. Yeah. Citizen comments? Councilperson comments?
Yeah, I'd like to talk about trucks just a little bit more, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Harold talked about this, I think it was the last meeting, You know, I go to Enid, I go to Kingfisher, and I see the vehicles that the city employees are driving there, okay? And they're not all beat up and banged up like ours are. And I just, it's really, really hard for me to vote for a new vehicle when I see how our vehicles are treated. I'll be honest with you. I think we need to get some supervisor buy-in on giving our employees specific guidance on how to take care of them vehicles. When they knock a dent in one of them, I think we need to get it to the body shop and get it fixed.
Can I say something with this?
Absolutely.
Okay, this is prior management and prior employees. The employees and the management that we have now,
Okay,
these vehicles were done like this before them.
okay, all right. Noted, and I understand what you're saying. But we need to draw a line in the sand moving forward, and we need to get these people to where they're taking care of the vehicles. I just don't know how to say it any nicer. I'm not trying to be rude. I see supervisors smoking in the vehicles.
There's nobody supposed to be smoking in the vehicles.
I know that,
And if you see somebody smoking in the vehicles, I want you to come tell me.
all right? I will from now on.
Because they know that, because I have put it out to them, I don't know how many times on their paychecks, everywhere. No
Well,
smoking
It's
in
still a
vehicles.
problem. It's still a problem. And I try not to be a tattletale, you know? But I see it. I can't help but see it. It's right in my face.
So,
Let's get back to, I want to get back to the damaged vehicles for a minute. You know, the dents and dings and bent bumpers and et cetera. If talking about increasing or recruiting new business for our community, if I'm scouting Hennessy out for a place to open up a new business, and, you know, I see city vehicles like that, I may or may not want to be in that town.
oh, I agree.
I think it's important for the employees to present a professional attitude and appearance in everything they do. And let me give you another example. It's a vehicle, it's got rubber tracks on it. They leave equipment out over the weekend. I don't think that's right. I think it needs to go in the shed.
Sometimes they do to cover up a hole, to make sure nobody goes into that hole as a safety precaution.
Okay, so again, I'm talking about the vehicles, the trucks. Shouldn't they be checking all the fluid levels and stuff before they operate the trucks?
Every day.
Every day. I worked in the government for 33 years. I don't know if the municipal regs are the same as state and federal, but you didn't drive a government truck until you checked all the fluid levels. Every
Well, I
day.
know that's the same, that's the way with the airplanes, but I don't think that that's,
You already said that they completed document scheduled maintenance, which would be oil changes and stuff like that. And you said the warranty work, you send that to the dealer. And Harold, again, I'm back to Harold, what he said at the last meeting. Our vehicles, they seem to just get damaged so much. And I've noticed the same thing that he's noticed is, they park the vehicles so close to the work area that they're hitting the vehicles with the equipment. They have to be.
no, they're not.
They're not?
No. Mm-mm. So the vehicles that you're talking about, okay, you're talking about a 2008 the 2008 Chevy, okay? And that one, all of those have been operated by previous employees. And they have been backed up with trailers and, because I've complained, I don't know, these girls have worked with me for numerous years and they have been done by previous employees who really didn't care. Those employees don't work here anymore. The other one is a 2009 Chevy, that it came rusted out. It was bought by a previous employee,
That's the
that
one,
the town council,
that's the one Alyssa.
yes.
Yeah,
It was bought, rusted out underneath.
yeah,
Why we bought it like that, I don't know.
yeah, I can understand that one looking bad. But again, I'm back to the planning meeting, we had on Saturday. Everybody, every shop forecasted for a vehicle, at least one. And I'm thinking, I can't vote for new vehicles until these people start taking care of them. And if you say, I'm listening, you said you've got
So-
rid of some people and
So what
things
are they
better.
supposed to do to show you that they take care of them when they've received them looking like they need to go to the junkyard?
Yeah.
You see
Well,
what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good point. However, they could still wash them once a week, take a garden hose, rinse the floorboard out, stop smoking in the vehicles, wear seat belts, fix the broken lights. I stopped one of the guys coming to this meeting. I asked him if he knew he had a light out on the pickup truck. Yeah, I know it. I've been having problems with it. So, and so I'm just, I'm trying to explain to you guys that, I'm trying to explain to everybody here.
In some of that stuff, I wish that we had to be able to afford to buy or to hire just somebody who worked on vehicles.
That's a very good idea.
But right now, we can't afford just somebody to work on vehicles. I mean, because we're having to work on all these water leaks and, the streets, we need them out. But that would be ideal, because then they can just take it, drop it off, and then go about and work on their, but maybe that's what the city needs to consider.
I agree with what you're saying. A lot of it is prior employees, prior supervisors, and I'm not trying to poke any of the employees in the eye. If any of them need that, you're the one that does that, not me. But I'm just telling you guys, you're gonna hear a lot of no votes from me on vehicles until these people get their act together on what they've got right now. And if they wanna show me what they're doing to make me feel better about it, let me know and I'll go over there. It's not a problem. Not a problem. I'd love to go over there and talk to them guys and see what they do on the vehicles. I'd like to see some of their records, if they're keeping records on them. Very, very important in my book. I'm done.
Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn Utilities Authority meeting?
All right, second. Roll call?
Harold,
Yes.
Cliff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
David.
Yes.